Well, it's Thursday-ish. We're in the afternoon this time, but it's Family Matters with the one and only Kevin Petersen. Kevin, how are you?
Jay, I'm doing pretty good. I'm running up against the clock today, so we gotta hit this hard and fast. I gotta stop at like 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're at home base at Jaywalker, but
No
well,
chitter
anyway,
chatter today.
hey, I don't know if you manipulated me or not, but we've got a couple of questions. I think it's a great topic, and so like
Okay.
in general, like I'm gonna put. So we got some families reaching out, and they believe or they're asking, is it possible, and don't laugh, is it possible that their loved one is manipulating them early in the recovery process? Whether they're in detox or maybe at a treatment center, or maybe out and about. You know it well. Kevin, I promise I will change. I promise I will do all this. Uh, Kevin, this place is terrible. The food, the counselors. Is that manipulation?
Yes. Next question. So I call that summer camp syndrome. When you send your kids to summer camp and they're like, "This place sucks. The kids are all dorks. The food's horrible. It's all raining. It's awful." And then you don't hear from them for a couple of weeks, and then they're like, "What do you mean? I love this place. These are my best friends. This is the best place I've ever been to in my entire life." And you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Um, so understand in that moment, right? And this is really critical. I think it's important for us to say is you're not talking to your person. You're not talking to your child or your loved one. You're talking to their addiction. And the addiction is going to come up with every single excuse and every single reason why you should let them go home and go back to their way of life, right? So don't what I see then is families like, "He's lying. He's none of this is working." And I'm like, slow down, slow down, tap the brakes. I want you to understand that this is not your loved one. This is your loved one's addiction fighting for its life. And they're going to come up with a million reasons, none of which make any sense. And they're going to tell you, "Oh, no, 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 no. I've been sober 60 days. I'm good." Almost all research points to 12 months to 18 months to 24 months before their brain fully comes back completely functioning. And let's remember, that's fully brain enhanced, full adults, full brain growth adults. We're not talking about 25-year-old boys or 18-year-old boys or anything like that. We're talking about people that are completely on the ball. And so, yeah, I mean, again, what I try to counsel my families is don't get mad. I know you feel like, "Oh my God, here we go again. It's all lies." And it's like, well, yeah, you're right. It is. But understand where he's coming from. His addiction is like, no, 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 no. And let's do something different. I need to go back we got to go back to our old way. And yeah, so yes, the answer is yes, but yes, and understand why that's happening.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say because I would like to believe I'm a master on this for all the wrong reasons, and so I guess before Chat GPT there was Chat Jay, I guess. So I will share with the world one of my secrets. If I heard something incredible while in group that some sounds really really good that I knew my mom or people were going to go for, I recited that by saying, what I'm doing is I'm misplacing my reliance and on whatever it may be. I knew my mom was big on God or something, so I went heavy on the religious side, and
Hmm.
I just need a new connection with God. I found that here. I can leave. I'm good. So forth. I'll say this because families, it's a great topic because I don't know when it happens, a week to two. I don't know, like the voice kind of clears out and gets healthy on the phone all of a sudden.
Mm.
And someone that's been through numerous treatment centers like myself, I could not be trusted. And I'll just say that. And so it was pure manipulation to get out. I didn't necessarily go with the bad food or whatever. I started quoting what I heard in groups by counselors or people that
Mm.
have been there and recited that on the phone to my mom and dad. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Thankfully, it didn't this last time. But I think talking. I mean, that 2 week or whatever time period is, you start sounding healthier on the phone. Would you say? I mean, what's a kind of guiding rule that the lack of communication, no communication, in that first 2-3 months? What do you really have to say in that first 30 days to your family anyway? Because the situation is what it is. You're in treatment. Your mom and dad, loved ones need a break. I mean, I know you guys have phone privileges and jaywalkers, but in Kevin's world, what would you say is the right amount of communication that first 30, 60 days?
Well, I always say try to set a time every week, like a 15 or 20-minute phone call every week just to see how you're doing, what's going on. I really get nervous when we talk about, people that are talking to their families every day, or, rush to the phone every night and want to, fill in their families. We want them to focus on their stuff internally right here, right now. We want them to really we want them, I mean, this is going to sound horrible. We want them to be selfish. We want them to focus on their recovery and sink in all the way, and then we want to help them learn how to have better conversations with their families. So, I think there's a danger in the first 30, 60, or even 90 days. The danger is too much contact. Plus, it makes them miss home. The first 30 days it really hits them like, I need to come home, because the people at home are like, oh, hey, so and so's sick, or so and so had a baby, or we're going to a wedding, and they're like, no, no, I got to be going to all those things. And what we have to do is push back on that and be like, look, you're investing your time here and now to take care of this here and now. So what we're looking to do is cement something for the future, so you don't miss anything else.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of that's the answer.
And you mentioned, life moments. Families need to really notice or realize that they go on with life too. Like weddings are going to happen, whether or not he's in treatment. I mean, like, just
Hmm.
go on. I hear a lot of times people putting off life memories or something, because Johnny's in treatment. Let's see how long he's going to be there. Johnny needs to be wherever it may be. I kind of have this like go on with life, and it's all right if Johnny misses one or two and gets better. He'll be a healthier person when for the next 100 events or something. But families are always worried about Johnny's going to miss this. We can't have the wedding. Like our son's going to push the wedding to 6 more months so Johnny can come. I would always say go on with your life. Johnny doesn't have to be at every life event. So
Yep. Yep, they'll be okay, don't worry. It's yeah, yeah, you got it.
well, let's switch gears, and we're going heavy. We're going to go into family roles,
Uh-oh.
and this one, can I can also relate. I can relate to a lot of things. If you go through what I went through, I can relate to a lot of things. But so sounds like as if the family had a family Zoom session or one, maybe a couple, I don't know, just had Zoom meetings. And the mom, I would assume it's the mom, but the therapist had basically pointed out to mom and dad that the two other siblings, one's already in treatment, but the two other siblings not in treatment, they
Mm-hmm.
they called my oldest the hero of the family, and they
Mm.
called my youngest the one. They said he was lost or something, like disappeared from the situation. How is that
Sure.
even possible? And then they may be onto something that said in the second paragraph, because my my sons then told the therapist that they resented the attention that their, let's just call it, addicted sibling, they actually named him. But how do I repair the damage? I didn't even realize my own kids were being resentful at the attention that the addicted loved one is getting. So you got family roles and then kind of resentments and how quickly, that attention goes to me. I had two older brothers, and it was well pointed out to everybody. Like, my two older brothers were kind of on their own. They turned out well, but Jay
Yeah,
got
I
most
get
of
it.
the attention.
No, I get it. I mean, it definitely in my family dynamic, my sister was not thrilled with the fact that I got the majority of the attention, good, bad, indifferent. It didn't freaking matter, And so let's start with that. It is natural as a parent to gravitate towards the one that's struggling and needs the most help, and it's hard to balance that. So I'm not giving you a pass, but what I'm saying is what you did was normal, and it's okay. Going forward, what I would say is you need to start working on your boundaries and doing a good job with the ones that your loved one, your child that's addicted, and just say, hey, look, here are my boundaries. I have other children. I have a marriage. I have a life. I got to take care of all this other stuff. I can't just take care of you. And I can't give you more than everybody else. So I'm going to start taking care of me and start setting boundaries and putting up a little bit of a wall with you. And that's why I talk about, so it's
That's
so
so
important.
powerful. If they get to that point, that is powerful.
That's why I tell people the best thing you can do to help your loved one who's struggling is to get into your own recovery, because you have to change the family system. Because look at what you just said. There's two siblings that are upset, and then we'll do the roles thing in a second, and they feel like they're being shorted on the deal. And as a mom or a dad, it's like, well, yeah, but what was I supposed to do? And it's like, well, I totally get that. And so, let's fix that today. Let's get some good therapy. Let's do some 12-step work. Let's really dig into our stuff and figure out how to have good boundaries with that child, and then the other children as well. Now, going into the family roles, so you have the problem child, right, who's getting all the attention. And then of course the oldest, who, I mean, let's say it's the middle child. The oldest is going to be the perfect hero, because they're going to make sure they don't do stupid stuff like that guy. They may still drink and use, but they ain't going to get caught, and they're not going to blow up everything like they do. And that way they get the positive love and attention. And also at the same time, mom's going to be like, you don't need my help. So I'm going to give more of my attention to number two. And number three, which is very typical for the youngest, is going to get lost in the shuffle and just sort of learn to survive on their own, because, number one's off running doing the show. Number two's getting the attention. And number three's like, hey. And at the end of the day, mom and dad are like, ugh, you're okay, right? Cool, great, everything's groovy. And again, I'm not blaming mom and dad. That is a normal thing to do. And so you have to unlearn that. And that's not your son or daughter getting sober is not going to fix that. That's you taking care of it and fixing it on your end. So to me, that's the most important thing that a family member can do, is really take their recovery seriously. And that can be therapy. It can be 12 steps. It can be whatever, but you got to dig in. You got to dig in and take care of you and change the function of the family, and that will change the outcomes. Yeah. Great
Well,
question.
family roles, just in general, there's a number of them. We could do a 2 hour long show on family roles alone and so forth. I highly encourage everyone to kind of look into it, especially if you have a loved one suffering. You have the enabler and the rescuer and the hero and the lost child, like they're pointing out, and a number of different ones. And how quickly those roles probably have started when they were kids. You love the
Sure.
trauma of everything starts when you're a child. Like what we all brought with us through our childhood and the roles that we played while growing up, we're probably going to play out in modern day life. So family
Yeah.
roles are fascinating stuff. So we can't
Yeah.
touch it, but they're dead on. It sounds like I would much rather have the family program be in person. I don't like the Zoom meeting, but maybe there was other circumstances. But if possible, go in person to any family function. But anyway, so
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
all righty, let's do a short one. We'll do a short Family Matters and then get you on the way, and we'll do it right back next week. But we
Sounds
loaded you up with
awesome.
2 pretty good ones. So
Those were some powerful questions, and we can revisit those because those are repetitive themes in the clients that we work with. So I would love to be able to sort of dig in and spend more
manipulation and
time.
family roles. Oh my God! Like yes, let's
I mean, yeah.
we'll put a star next to him. We'll get back to him next week. So Kevin, you can have the rest of the day off.
Thanks.
I'll see ya.